From downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
A former Detroit officer going after his new department for what he says are racist reactions to the results of his ancestry research. Why he says fellow officers crossed the line.
FBI Director James Comey fired. Tonight we're hearing from big names in the FBI about what it means for our nation's security and intelligence.
But we're going to begin with a live look at breaking news from Detroit's east side, and that is where a child has been mauled tonight by dogs. And it appears it's a tragic accident that could have been avoided.
And that little girl tonight is in surgery. Tim Pamplin is on the scene with the night cam. Tim?
Yeah, Kim, Darren, just a shocking scene here. This 5-year-old little girl over visiting family and friends when a pack of dogs attacked her in this backyard here near the swimming pool. She's got some very, very serious injuries. Now, police went into that house there where they believe the dogs were living, found 2 very docile dogs in there, just brought them out, and now they went into this house here and have started pulling out several very bulky looking, I don't know if these are pit bull breeds or what these are, but as I come around here a little bit, you'll see this is dog number 2 coming out of here. Animal control are on the scene handling it. They're assessing the animals one by one as they come out. Now, as you mentioned, this could have been preventable. Spoke to DC Hall, Renee Hall earlier. She tells me the man who owns these animals was cited. There's actually a warrant out for him for a similar situation just a while ago.
What we do know is that the owner was warned. He has a misdemeanor warrant for failure to turn over the animals in a previous situation. So he clearly knew that these dogs had some level of aggression, and he should have taken the necessary precautions to ensure that this never happened again.
And so back at here now, animal control officers having a tough time with this particular animal. Does not want to go downtown. They're going to have to take all of these animals in that are inside, well, not only this home here, but also the 2 animals that are inside this home here. They're going to have to do analysis on these animals to try and find out exactly which one it was that attacked and mauled this little 5-year-old girl. A very sad scene out here all around. Back to you guys.
It sure is, Tim, and that means there's obviously a long way to go, a lot of questions to be answered. We'll be following the story overnight. We'll have updates first thing on clickondetroit.com and first thing in the morning on Local 4 News Today starting at 4:30.
This officer, Cleon Brown, he's wondering if some of his co-workers will have his back after filing a lawsuit against his department. Jermont Terry is live with how the revelation of Brown's ancestry has sparked controversy in the small Michigan police force. Jermont?
Kimberly, Sergeant Cleon Brown originally worked for Detroit Police. Then he moved to the Hastings Police Department, where he's been for the past 19 years. Now, as you mentioned, he recently decided to check into his ancestry. And when he did, he discovered that he is, check this out, 18% African. And when he shared that with the all-white police force, he says that's when things changed.
I call it straight up racism.
Police officer Cleon Brown speaks out after enduring what he calls racism on the job. Brown works for the Hastings Police Department outside Grand Rapids.
Never brought up race, or they've never been challenged to deal with it, I guess, maybe.
But that all changed when Brown discovered through a DNA registry that he was more than 18% African.
It was almost like a disgraced type of reaction that I got from him, like, why are you proud of this type of thing?
This 18-page lawsuit accuses the police chief, former mayor, city manager, and deputy chief in Hastings of discrimination. It adds they created a hostile work environment when Brown embraced his ancestry. The suit accuses the chief of calling him a derogative name in front of others.
And said to Cleon, "Hey, Kunta, how's it going?"
Referring to a slave from Alex Haley's novel Roots.
It's very hurtful. I was so upset. I'm still upset about it.
But it's more than just words. The suit claims at Christmas, this stocking with a black Santa with 18% appeared on the department's tree.
Guests will see when they walk in, or even people we've arrested that we walk into the PD will see this black Santa Claus in my stocking with my name on it.
The city claims Brown made jokes himself about being black.
That is what I believe to be defendants creating an excuse to justify their conduct.
Now, Brown first filed an EEO complaint, and he says after he filed that complaint, the harassment only got worse. His attorney says they filed the lawsuit only after talks with the city went nowhere. Now, they are seeking $500,000 in punitive damages, and they say just about 80% of the force still supports him. However, those 4 people named in that lawsuit are the problem in all of this. Reporting live tonight, Jermont Terry, Local 4.
Okay, Jermont. Also breaking tonight, federal prosecutors have issued grand jury subpoenas for associates of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. CNN is reporting the feds are seeking business records as part of the ongoing investigation of Russian meddling in last year's election. Investigators are looking into possible wrongdoing and how Flynn handled disclosures about payments from clients tied to Russia and Turkey. Flynn resigned as National Security Advisor back in February after failing to disclose the nature of phone conversations with Russia's ambassador.
Now, that news comes just hours after President Trump abruptly fired the FBI Director James Comey. Comey was addressing FBI employees in Los Angeles when the news about this broke on television behind him. Now, Detroit's former U.S. attorney and the former head of the FBI in Detroit were stunned at the news. Mara McDonald live tonight with their reaction. Mara?
Good evening to you, Devin. And you know, we were originally told that the president would have something to say about Comey's firing tomorrow. However, within the last 10 minutes, he has started tweeting. Let me show you, saying, "Crying Chuck Schumer stated recently, quote, I do not have confidence in him, James Comey, any longer. Then acts so indignant. Hashtag drain the swamp." The president is referencing the Democratic senator from New York who came out hard against him tonight over firing Comey. Let me take you through it. The president fired FBI Director James Comey on the advice of the Attorney General. President Trump sent Comey a letter telling him he was fired, and the letter Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein sent the president explaining the rationale for why Comey needs to go cites multiple reasons, including how he handled the Clinton email investigation and his decision to go public with the Bureau reopening the investigation late into the 2016 presidential campaign. Former U.S. Attorney Barb McQuaid says in her dealings with Comey, she always found him to be a straight shooter.
I thought he was a very strong leader. The FBI loves him. He is beloved by the agents because he is a strong leader. He cares deeply about the mission of the FBI, but he also is a really dedicated public servant.
Both McQuaid and former FBI Detroit Special Agent in charge Andy Arenas smell the strong scent of politics here.
You know, the law was changed after J. Edgar Hoover died to make sure that this was never politicized, and I think it became politicized today.
FBI directors have a 10-year term to bridge administrations to try and prevent politicizing the Bureau. The Attorney General advised the president they had cause to fire Comey, but his sacking has the political class in D.C. on fire. To call this firing highly unusual is underselling it.
I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to reserve my judgment, but my first reaction, my gut feeling is it stinks.
Back here live, I asked both Comey and McQuaid, you know, with the firing of the top guy at the FBI, what happens to the rank and file? Does any work get done? Both of them say the work does continue to get done, but there certainly is a level of uncertainty. We're live in Detroit tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Okay, Mara. Testimony continues tomorrow in the trial of the man accused of killing Chelsea Bruck. Daniel Clay is charged with murdering the Monroe County woman back in 2014. Today, the jury heard from 14 witnesses, including Bruck's mother. The defense says Bruck's death was an accident and happened while she and Clay had consensual, rough sex.
A 17-year-old girl shot inside her Chesterfield Township home remains in grave condition tonight. Tomorrow, we expect to learn new information about the prime suspect in the case. Police have Marsh Lowe's boyfriend in custody, and they tell us there is no other suspect they are seeking. He could be arraigned tomorrow.
Things are mostly back to normal tonight in Grosse Pointe Woods after a gas leak. This morning, people were evacuated, schools locked down, and roads closed after a major gas line was struck on Vernier Road near Morningside. Police chief said there was enough pressure coming out of the line to level a house. The leak has been capped. People are back in their homes, and all roads have since reopened.
Gone with the wind. Loads of cash just flying around a parking lot while a man scrambles to catch it all. What sent the bill scattering coming up?
Strength in numbers. Neighbors come together to save a child penned by an SUV. You'll see their incredible rescue. Hi, Ben.
Hey, Kim, considering where we started this morning, 43, not a bad start for tomorrow, but there will be spots that see frost. We'll look at those in a warmer weekend coming up.
He wasn't letting go, and I felt every blood vessel in my face rupturing.
A story of abuse she says she never saw coming.
I wish that I would have walked away when I had the chance to.
Looking back, there were signs. Now this local woman bravely shares how she escaped.
As I was running out, I could hear him running after me.
And survived.
1 in 4 women experience what happened to our survivor. Her story next.
And we remain on the scene of the breaking news tonight. Detroit's east side, a 5-year-old girl has been mauled by dogs. The girl is in critical condition, in fact, undergoing surgery at this hour. So far, police have seized several dogs from 2 homes on that street, and the dog owner has been taken into custody. We'll be right back.
This is it. This is how it's going to end for me. I'm not going to get to say goodbye to my daughter. That's it.
But she survived. Her attacker now in prison. And for the first time, she shares her story of abuse, escape, and survival. Believe it or not, 1 in every 4 women will experience domestic violence in her lifetime.
A Canton woman was nearly killed in her attack. She has been afraid to speak up, but tonight the survivor gets the courage to share her story with Local 4 defender Karen Drew.
I don't want to lose you even though you lost yourself.
Singing in the studio, that's what gets Ashley through.
You have to find the strength to let it go, better yourself and find what saves you.
Music and her daughter Kylie give her strength.
Thank you so much.
Ashley is a survivor. Her ex-boyfriend attacked her in her bedroom.
You don't just think someone's going to wake up and want you dead, ever.
Ashley finally feels safe sharing what happened.
I'd just woken up, and I had let him stay at my place the night before. And I was getting ready for work, and he didn't like that. And he basically came up to me, and he was like, I'm not going anywhere. This is where he scooched towards me on the bed, started rubbing my arm, saying, I'm so sorry, but I have to do this, and put me in a chokehold. I remember just trying to pry him off me, but I couldn't. I was kicking and nothing was happening. I felt every blood vessel in my face rupturing. I remember just pain, and then just blackness. So he just dropped me to the floor, and I had started coming back too, and he went up against the wall and started crying. He's like, oh my God, you're moving. He's like, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to kill you and then kill myself. I'm so sorry. I just couldn't believe what happened because he had actually never hurt me before. I'm saying anything to get out of the situation. I was like, please, I love you. Anything. All you're thinking of is how can I survive? And he went by this window right here to have a cigarette, and he was smoking a cigarette, and I went to the bathroom, and I just saw him when I came out, and I booked it to my door downstairs, ran down the stairs, ran out the door, and went screaming for help in my parking lot. And that's when my neighbor downstairs had let me in. And as I was running out, I could hear him running after me. So if he would have got me, I don't think I would be here today.
Ashley was strangled nearly to death. These pictures show what she looked like 2 weeks after the attack.
And the doctor told me, she's like, you're so lucky that the retina of your eyes weren't affected, that you weren't blind, that there was no severe brain damage.
Kyle Jonathan Wide was convicted of assault with the intent to murder and domestic violence.
I wish that I would have walked away when I had the chance to. There were several chances, him being controlling, the drug use. He had been in jail before.
While Wide was waiting to be sentenced and out on bond, he tried to attack Ashley again.
They put a tether on him, and he immediately headed to my place on a GPS tether. If you have a boyfriend who is, using drugs and they clearly don't want to stop.
The sooner we can speak with the clients and help them with safety plans, the better the outcome.
If your boyfriend has laid your hands on you, I don't care if it was even once or if it was a little push or whatever, just get out while you can.
What doesn't kill you makes you truly alive.
Ashley writes about surviving, sharing her story to save someone else.
Keep on surviving, keep on surviving.
She is a strong woman for sharing that story, too.
But I can't imagine what it took her to get to this point, because that's part of the recovery, isn't it?
You're right. And Kyle Wide is serving a 6 to 10 year sentence. Ashley is speaking about her ordeal publicly for the first time this Thursday night at a fundraiser for First Step. That, of course, is the domestic violence agency that helped her.
And if you'd like to attend, we put the information on the Defenders page of clickondetroit.com. Here's what Kevin Dietz is working on for tomorrow night at 11.
She was the first African-American police officer to be hired in the history of the city of Warren.
I'd die for them, because that's what I signed up for.
Now, 10 years later, she's still the only African-American, and she says she's not going to put up with it anymore.
To make myself so small for them is a horrible thing to admit and say, that I've allowed myself to be tolerated.
Alleging co-workers and bosses condone racist and demeaning comments, and even put her life in danger.
You just shouldn't have to be confronted with it every day.
A Defenders exclusive investigation tomorrow night at 11.
Ben comes in, and I'm glad you're here. You need to be getting your rest. You got a big day tomorrow.
Yes.
Do you have a load up on a carb dinner tonight, that kind of thing? Before your big weather fest?
A lot of pasta. Yeah. Started prepping with the tornado tips, but we're going to be over at the Southfield Public Library. We'll talk about that coming up. Kim ordered some warmer weather. We've got it in the forecast. It's a little Where's Waldo. You got to find where it is. It wasn't today, that's for sure. 60 with the high, 35 in the morning. But that was actually one of our milder numbers across the area. There were some 20s out there, especially in our west zone this morning. But currently we're at 52, and we've got a southeast breeze at 5. Humidity is a little bit higher than it was last night. We had that extremely dry air, lighter winds, and we had a lot less cloud cover. So the clouds are actually helping us out, keeping those temperatures a little bit less on the cold side of things. But you can see where the numbers are already starting to drop. That's where frost advisory is in effect from midnight until 8 a.m. So not quite freezing temperatures, but enough that there could be some patchy frost. I don't think it'll be all widespread in those 3 counties. The rest of us get to escape that as we slowly start making our way up towards Mother's Day weekend. A lot of clouds out there right now. There's a patch of rain just now starting to roll into central Wisconsin. Computer models show that that is going to dry out by the time it makes its way into the mitten. And so we're looking at dry conditions tomorrow. Not so much Thursday. We're barely going to get brushed by a couple of those light scattered showers on Thursday, but that's really the only shot we've got of getting wet this work week. Could see a couple more sprinkles, unfortunately, as we head into Mother's Day weekend. So lows tonight in the city are going to be at 42. A lot of the outlying areas upper 30s, except for that area that's under the advisory, frost advisory, where we could see mid 30s for lows tonight. So these are the high temperatures tomorrow. Still a little bit of an east wind, so you'll notice that the numbers slightly cooler here on the east side, around 61 in the city, and then those numbers get into the mid 60s on the west side of our metro zone. South zone, upper 60s out here in Lenawee County, but numbers cool off considerably out here towards Monroe, Luna Pier, and Carlton, which will be in the 50s tomorrow afternoon. All 60s in our west zone, mid to upper 60s as a matter of fact. And in parts of our north zone, we'll get there too, except towards Lake Huron, where we'll see those 50-degree highs. 52 will be that high temperature tomorrow in Lexington. So a little bit of a step backwards there on Thursday as we go to 61. Then we start bouncing back as we head towards the weekend. And there you go, Kim, 72 Monday, 74 on Tuesday, and it's coming with a whole lot of sunshine as well. Still nice weather tomorrow. If you want to join us at the Southfield Public Library, we will be there for Weatherfest. We've got games, we've got weather modules. You get to meet some of the first responders and talk all kinds of... Yes.
Yeah.
We'll talk all kinds of
geeking out.
It's going to be a big weather geek fest. I love it.
See us.
Yeah. All right. Well, another PR nightmare, you'd have to say, for United Airlines, this time for what a passenger says they gave her when she said she had to use the restroom.
We'll have that coming up, and they didn't hesitate. Strangers save a young girl trapped underneath an SUV. The incredible rescue is coming up next.
Embattled Macomb County Clerk Karen Spranger was in court today being sued by the county executive's office. They're seeking an injunction forcing her to go along with a partial move to a new county building. A deal was reached outside of court, but it's still going to need to be finalized before a judge. An antique store in Ann Arbor hopes that this video helps find a woman who stole jewelry. The video shows her walking around Home Sweet Home, removing watches and rings from stands. She puts them in her purse and leaves with about $2,000 worth of merchandise.
A horrifying scene in Philadelphia as 3 young girls are hit by an SUV and one gets pinned underneath. Neighbors waste no time and rush to the vehicle and begin lifting it, trying to free the little 9-year-old girl. The girl, along with 2 other girls, ages 5 and 10, were rushed to the hospital. The 9-year-old is in critical condition. The other 2 are in stable condition.
Imagine being on a flight, needing to use the restroom, and being handed a cup to handle your business. A Missouri woman says that's what happened to her on a United Airlines flight. She says she has an overactive bladder and had to use the bathroom while the seatbelt light was lit. She says a flight attendant refused to let her go and then offered her a cup. The woman has filed a complaint with United. United says they're looking into the incident. Continuing with airline troubles, Spirit Airlines still trying to get hundreds of passengers to their destinations after canceling flights across the country that included some in and out of Detroit Metro. It got so tense there were fights after the flights were canceled in Fort Lauderdale, fisticuffs between passengers and then with the police when they showed up to try and settle it all down. The airline has been in a dispute with pilots over labor negotiations. Your mother, of course, told you money doesn't grow on trees. We've all heard that. She's right, but sometimes it does sort of fly around.
A woman outside of Houston was in a parking lot when money just started flying by her. A man was filling an ATM with cash when he dropped the bank bag, causing it to tear open. The wind blew the money all around the parking lot. Some good and not so good Samaritans stopped to help. No word on if those with sticky fingers will face any charges. You have to ask yourself, what would you do?
What would you do? It's a good question. Yep, good little test.